in the last 10 to 15 years, advancements in technology have been coming at state DOTs and the transportation system in general that we feel that the traditional century-long structures for organizations haven't necessarily been organized to be able to accommodate and incorporate changes in technology. So really what this was about was bringing together a number of states, leading practitioners, to look at case studies of what they were experiencing in their states in terms of changes in their organizational structure or modifications in their procurement practices or in their hiring practices in order to reflect that change in technology. Now, what do we talk about change in technology? Because we've always been experiencing change in technology. From the time that personal computers were introduced into our offices, to CAD was introduced into how we design our programs. But what is different, and perhaps what has been different since 2007 with the introduction of the iPhone, is that there's a broader public that is engaging in transportation beyond just the state DOTs. And there are both opportunities to take advantage of those changes in technology, but also risks that if we don't continue to evolve as organizations, there's a risk that we become irrelevant because others are going to take over what traditionally DOTs have been engaged in and what our principal responsibilities are, which are ensuring mobility in all of our transportation systems and the safety of the traveling public. First of all, there's a recognition that as state DOTs, we've been collecting data. Part of our job is collecting data. Survey information is data. We build our projects based on survey data. But what is happening now, and increasingly, with greater rapidity, is data is becoming both a tool to more efficiently serve the public, because we can take in more real-time information to make real-time decisions. But do we in our agencies have the personnel that are properly trained to take in that data, to analyze that data, to separate the wheat from the chaff? This is an enormous amount of data that we're collecting through these new technologies. But how do we separate that which is of value to that which is just actually going to be burning more of our staff hours? So one of the key takeaways that we heard across the board was that our traditional hiring practices are probably need to be broadened. The types of skill sets that we're looking for need to be broadened, not an exclusion of the traditional skill sets that we've had, but broader. Both in technical capabilities, in data analytics, and also a recognition that in order to both bring in new staff that have those skills, but also to retain them, we have to rethink how we do that. And there's I think a recognition there's a generational change that is occurring in employee expectations of how they fit into an organization, where they want to be in an organization, how long they're going to be in an organization. I don't think it is something that we can guarantee that, if we bring in that recent engineering grad, we can expect to have them for 35 years in the DOT. I think that's just not going to happen anymore. So are we structured to encourage and are we competitive with other industries to gain that knowledge set? So we're very fortunate that the Utah DOT hosted us here in Salt Lake City. Utah is often recognized as one of the leading states in terms of delivery of its program to its customers. It has a very stable leadership that has a consistent sort of set of goals and a mission for for its employees, but also very willing recognition that change is inevitable, and that if you don't embrace change, again, you're either going to ride the wave or you're going to get knocked over by the wave. And I think Utah is a prime example, not alone, but a prime example of a philosophy of riding the wave, and in some cases being ahead of the wave. But there's not, as I said, they're not alone. So we had the participating states that came to Salt Lake and presented their experiences in a very candid way. Good experiences and bad experiences included. Utah did a great presentation. We had Tennessee DOT come and give fabulous presentation on what they did to almost as a top-down direction from the then governor to reorganize the organization, and they took advantage of that. They took a difficult request and it turned it into a positive for the state. We also had Maryland come and talk about a lot, including their work on data analytics. We had Iowa here. Former director of Iowa, Paul Trombino, a number of years ago, really led the way from what I saw in using data and tying that data, the transportation system, how it was tied to the economy of the state. Really brought home for me that that was the aha moment. It's about the economy, stupid. And unless your DOT is structured to help the economy, what's driving the economy, then are you really doing what your mission is? We also had Minnesota. Again, great presentations on their challenges and the way that they took the transportation systems management and operation function. That is, how do we get the need to integrate what maintenance does with what operations does beyond the silos of an organization into how do we do our work better for the users of our system. And then we also had Washington State. Washington State has talk about a multimodal portfolio from rail to ferries, obviously the highways, short line railroad, airports, what have you, and a growth state with a lot of tech companies, sort of the ground zero for technology in Washington State, and how do they use that to their advantage. So great participation by these states to share their experiences. Again, we could have picked an equal number of other states, and they could have shared their experiences as well. So technology is an incredibly broad subject matter, right? So all the way from your transportation control centers that are monitoring traffic flow. Well, how do we monitor traffic flow? What are the actual technologies that we're using today? It used to be the way about the only information we had was a loop detector at an intersection, right? Maybe we get volume counts, but now we have radar, we have LiDAR, we're able to on our plow equipment determine friction on the roadway. We're able to in real time get more information broadly on our transportation system of how better to not only react to situations when they happen, but now with the ability to collect more data, we want to become more predictive and responsive agencies based on not how do we react to this thing that did happen. It's more of how do we prepare for the thing that is predicted to happen so it either doesn't happen or the impacts of that event are minimized. And that's where we're shifting towards. And that's on the traffic management, transportation management side of it. But then we also talked a great deal about asset management. How do we get information on all of our assets in a real-time way so that we can better both select projects based on analysis of where the limited resources that we're always going to have, what is the best utilization of those limited resources to serve what our ultimate mission is. And again, let's go back to the ultimate mission. It's how do we move goods and people and goods most efficiently on our systems, and how do we operate in the safest way we can. And through data analytics and through organizations that have the ability to process that information, we think we can more efficiently deliver that mission to the general public. And that's what this is, that's really the core of what